to Real Estate Meme Stream. I'm sorry, Real Estate Humor Meme Stream. We get together every Wednesday morning and start the day off with real estate memes. The idea is to be funny. Now, there's some truth and some business principles behind it, but we're going to start our day with some levity and some comedy. I'd love to have you participate. We live stream this onto Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube. So if you're watching this while we're going along, feel free to jump in, ask questions, make your own jokes, suggest some memes, and let's have some fun. I'm Bill Gross. I'm a real estate broker here in Los Angeles, California. We do this every Wednesday morning at 8 o'clock a.m. Pacific time. So with that in mind, let's get into it. First meme. The realtor wanted to know if the functioning sink will pass the inspection. So technically, this would be a functioning sink. You have there your water running. You have the sink. You're missing some of the rest. And so these are the kind of questions you get in the course of a real estate process where you have a real estate anomaly, and hopefully our customer will get the inspector to buy off on it. So will that pass? No, sadly to say, that's not it. I don't want to put this one up, the next one, because it's funny how the real estate agents, I mean, this is classic. Let's see if I can do this without showing the person's name. I'll put this up. I can't do that. Okay. So we get, there's real estate agents who ask questions. Like they went to some sort of a seminar and said, hey, the key to engaging people is asking questions. So one of the questions we got in our group is, what strategy or steps are you considering to safeguard your finances during an impending recession? I think it's funny that you would post that in the real estate humor section, but that's real estate agents for you. Okay, next one. This is, there's taste and then there's taste. And, it's an optical illusion. It's kind of fun. They obviously did this on purpose with some idea behind it. I guess it's going to bother some people and some people are going to like it, I guess. What do you think? Different tastes. Look, if it's your property, do with it as you will. But I think that, there you go. Okay, next. This one is so classic. When the key isn't in the lockbox and the listing agent isn't answering the phone, you're looking in the window. There's not much more frustrating than you go to a property and the lockbox isn't there. I'll tell you that back in the day when the top REO agents was Leo Nordine out of the South Bay, they were on their game 24/7. If you're showing a property, and this is the day before super boxes, they knew when you're going to show up. And if you called, there was a problem, man, they had somebody out there with a key within 30 minutes. That was a professional that was committed to the business. These days, most agents just really aren't. Now, I will say, honestly, I don't answer my phone on Saturday. It's my Sabbath. And I do have agents that call if there's a perceived problem. But oftentimes those questions are things that they should have prepared ahead of time. There's multiple lock boxes. You should be able to figure out which one it is. But it is kind of frustrating when you can't get in and you're looking for the listing agent and he's not answering the phone. That can be really frustrating. Okay, so a lot of memes make fun of real estate agents that were a little hyper aggressive. Here's one. Real estate agents, when they hear about somebody thinking of buying or selling, you have this hedge and then it pops open. It's the realtor. Hey, you think of selling your house? As a group, we can be a little too aggressive, no doubt about it. And so we got to check that. We have to make sure that we're looking to help people be of service. Okay, and then next one, this is a conversation we don't want to have. Now, this is Pablo Escobar from the Netflix movie, or the character playing Pablo. When your home has been on the market for 70 days with 3 price reductions. So now you realize you should listen to your agent, not your neighbor, your uncle, 2 states over, live next to someone whose house sold in 1 day in 2021. Yeah, there's a lot of people giving unsolicited advice to customers. And what I always tell people is the data is the data. I don't make it up. I don't get to tell you what the market says. I got to just read the numbers to you, and then we have to decide what you want to do in relation to that, if you're going to play real or not. So, okay, next one. This is a classic meme also. Running an old friend, they just say I just bought a house. Congratulations. Don't you know I'm an agent? No, I forgot. And then you like want to pass out. Now, I have to say, I don't really have that happen. Most people know I am. I mean, if somebody is not chosen me, it's for a reason. But most agents don't keep in touch with their customers or prospects, and so uh, man, that's tough. And when this happens to agents, man, they feel cheated. They feel really used. I've had agents say, "I'll never be their friend again." Well, friends don't necessarily use them for all their business. I don't know how that really works. So, okay, next, think of a movie that describes how realtor's life is during their first year in business. And here's one that comes to mind. This is Tom Hanks. Is this Stranded? I think it was. Anyhow, yeah, your first year in business, you got to really tighten the belt. When I started the business in 1986, I lived in the cheapest apartment in Diamond Bar, California. My wife and I, we had no furniture other than a bedroom, bed, a nightstand, a small little portable TV, and then our mothers pitched in, bought us dining room tables. And those days, all the forms were paper, and so I just had in the living room where furniture might have gone. I just had a pile of all the different forms. We had no money to spend, so we didn't need furniture. We didn't need to buy anything, and we saved up and bought our first house. I started real estate in '86, and then we closed our first escrow in '87. It only took us that long because we bought a house that was contingent on a new build, and it took that long to close escrow. But we saved every penny to get into it. So yeah, the first year should be tight. You should plan, as Dave Ramsey says, beans and rice, beans and rice. I think that's a good strategy for most people when they're starting off. Okay, so next, that's not right. We're not going to go there. Sometimes in the MLS, you'll see property is not being shown. As a listing agent, I'll know behind the scenes there's stories as to why. But $1.49 million, in fact, the Tennessee under contract, not showing, and the pictures of the house literally burning down. So, yeah, if there's fire damage, you have to kind of figure out how to get people in the property, and that could be a whole big thing. So, but there's different reasons why certain houses are not being shown. I had one I've been moving out, and people said, why aren't you showing the property? Don't you want to get it sold? Well, yeah, I want to get it sold, but you can't show it for whatever reason sometimes, and you don't want to disclaim as to why. You don't need to. Okay, next, when you're at a listing appointment, this is for a newer agent, and the seller says, how many homes have you sold in the area? Yeah, that's a tough one. I think that, what I tell people is I've sold property throughout California. I sold property last year in 9 counties, and I'm expert in selling property. I'm not an expert necessarily in buying in all the areas, but I represent sellers and get them top dollar. And it's a system that works in all geographies. Yeah, we have to know the area, we have to know the price. But as a newer agent, you need to know that. You have to have confidence in something. And so, yeah, when you get asked, that's a tough question that you better have the answer to. And agents have that fear of that question until they get asked the first time. Once they get asked that question, then they are able to move forward. But until then, I think they just live in fear of it all the time. Okay. That one's not family friendly, so we're going to skip that one. And so this is a classic. When my buyers call the listing agent on a property they drive by, I'd be like, homie, don't play that. So, this is a difficult thing because the truth is in California, when a member of the public calls you, you have a responsibility to them as an agent. And they can then expect that relationship. And so I'll have buyers call me and I'll say, are you an agent? No, do you have an agent? I do, but I just have a couple of questions. And really, if you're answering those questions, you're kind of establishing an agency relationship. And I might, for example, be obligated to give them advantages over other prospective buyers because they're my client, or other information that I don't want to get involved with. And so I'll say to them, listen, for your protection, you need an agent to represent you. Well, can you just tell me how many beds or baths are? If you go into Zillow, you'll see it, but I can't tell you that. I don't play that way. I take my license very seriously. I've been very successful in this business. I enjoy it. And I know that customers get really upset. This is one of those where it's funny, but it's not funny to the buyer calling me, and it's not funny to me. I don't want to put myself in any difficulties. So there you go. Okay, and then we're going to wrap up today with this one. If you ever had this house as your listing, I've never had that exact thing. I've had some pretty wild stuff that customers put. I once had the Christmas display that covered as much of the front yard as this did. I mean, it was every square inch, and they wanted to sell their house, and they wanted to move, after Christmas was over. I said, well, it's kind of hard to sell a house when people can't get to the front door without turning sideways, but we managed to do it. And so it's one of those things where you just have to understand that you're limiting yourself, and you'll get a motivated buyer. But it's funny, but the reality is every house will sell for a price, and so you have to have fun with it. Okay, that's our real estate humor meme stream for today. We do this every Wednesday morning, 8 o'clock. What are your favorite memes? If you have any, feel free to put them in the chat box or send them to me directly. Hope you enjoy this. I have fun with it. And if I speak to you, have a great day. Thanks.